Hello everyone, I'm Parth Yadav. So I got into Atlassian at 19. But the thing that got me noticed was not my resume or some perfectly planned career plan. It was actually an open source project. So that sounds cool when I say it like that, but the story was actually a lot more random. It started with video games, then modding, then bunch of random experiments, and then eventually Atlassian. So recently I posted about this on Twitter and a lot of people asked me about the full story. So I thought I should just make a video about sharing it. So also this is not a roadmap video. I'm not trying to make it sound like there was one secret strategy behind everything. Most of it was just curiosity, building things and solving problems which I myself had. So let's get into it. I started coding when I was around 13, and the reason was video games. I used to play a lot of video games back then: GTA, Freedom Fighters, Need for Speed, and whatever else I could get my hands on. And there was one thing in Freedom Fighters that really annoyed me, which was you couldn't sit in the car. And I remember thinking, why can't I change that? There has to be some way to modify the game, right? So I started searching online and most of it went over my head, but that still pulled me in. That was probably the first time software felt like something I could mess with and not just something I had to use as it is. So after around 8th or ninth standard, I joined a C++ boot camp near my place, and I used to go there after school, and that was my first proper exposure to programming. And that feeling or that feedback loop of writing something and having it do things was really addictive for me. And I still didn't know that where any of this would go, but I knew I liked the process. And one of my teachers there later suggested that I should try app development. So I got into Swift and started learning how apps are built. But after that, I went through a phase where I explored a lot of different things, which is not development. So I did graphic design, I did brand identity design, I did Blender, 3D modeling, VFX, ethical hacking, Linux, and bunch of other random stuff. At that time, it looked scattered. It probably felt like I was jumping from one thing to another and it wasn't making sense. But later, that really helped me, especially when I started building tools, all the experience in different fields compounded. And I did not think of it that way back then. I was just following whatever was interesting. But after that exploration phase, I came back to coding. I joined a Python bootcamp on Udemy, and during that period, I built my first open source program called IMMAT. Which allowed me to control my Mac using iMessage. Really simple project. I could just ask for a screenshot, check what's going on, shut it down if needed. That's all. That was enough for my use case. That wasn't a big product or anything, but it was the first time I built something because I genuinely needed it. After that, I kept learning Python and I built Tkinter Designer. And that is still one of my most known projects because the problem again was pretty simple. Building graphical user interfaces in Python was really painful, and especially if you wanted to build something that looked decent, that was really difficult. And at the same time, Figma felt much easier to designing interface. So I started looking into connecting those two things. What if I could design the UI in Figma and then convert into Python Tkinter code, and that became Tkinter Designer. It converted Figma designs into Python code, and after a while, it started spreading. A lot of students around the world had Tkinter courses. Tkinter in their university courses. So they started using it for college projects, learning, and that was the first time something I built moved outside my own circle or my use case. And because of Tkinter Designer, a company called Magical reached out to me, and they were working in a similar problem space: design conversions, Figma to other formats, and tools around that workflow. So, because I already had worked on Figma to UI conversions, my project made me kind of relevant for that role. So I joined Magical when I was 17, and I worked there for around a year and 2 months. Until then, most of my work was building things alone, but working at Magical taught me a lot on how actually software development works, how teams collaborate, etc. After Magical, I worked at few companies for shorter stints. While while I kept building my open source projects on the side. And I was getting more and more interested in developer tooling, basically like tools and projects which help other developers. At that time, I was just building whatever I found useful. Later, that became big part of why Atlassian opportunity made sense to me. One of my projects was being used at Atlassian at that time, and I didn't know about that at first, but a principal developer from Atlassian noticed it and reached out to me regarding a work opportunity, and I was really happy about that. And that eventually led me to joining Atlassian when I was 19. I joined as a contractor through EPAM systems. I was really happy because I got to work on the stuff which I already was interested in, which was developer tooling, and everything felt very natural. The work, the team, the collaboration. I was working with really talented engineers and I was learning a lot. Along with that, because I was really passionate about things, I was doing everything, like everything felt effortless. I was being really productive and really fast. And just after 6 months, Atlassian converted me into full-time engineer, and that was a SDE-I role, and was P30 as Atlassian we call it in. After that, I started taking more ownership of work I was doing. I had to think through trade-offs and become more independent on how I approach work. And that phase pushed me a lot because it was not just about doing assigned tasks anymore. It was about taking problem and moving it forward. And after another 6 months, I was promoted to a P40, which is equivalent to SDE-II. And currently, I'm working mostly on AI tools and products which would help developers in Atlassian. And it's really fun, honestly. I enjoy working there. And so, yes, I became SD2 in a year, but the actual story started years before that, with a lot of random things, stories stacking up. And if I have to summarize what helped me, you have a few things, right? So first, I tried to solve problems which I was facing. I didn't go looking into business ideas with products. I was just solving my own problems and wasn't thinking much about it. Second, I put my work out there publicly. That made it visible to people who otherwise wouldn't know I existed. And third, and most important, is being reliable. Being the person which people could rely on is really important thing. And finally, curiosity helped a lot. A lot of things I explored looked random at the time, but they all changed how I built the software. And outside of work, I still build my own projects in free time. And yeah, that's the story so far. I don't think the takeaway is to copy my path. Your path will probably look different given the AI revolution we're having. But if there is one thing I would repeat is that build useful things and put them where people can find them. You never know which project will matter later or which people would see it. But having your work out there helps a lot. So if you're interested, I can make more videos around my work projects. Just let me know in the comments. If you want to reach out to me personally, feel free to DM me on Twitter. I'll put my account in the description and I'd be really happy to help you. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.